The latest on the missing Malaysian flight. An international team of surveillance planes is scouring the South Indian Ocean for a second day. Their hope is to find debris from the missing Malaysian Airlines jet that disappeared 12 days ago. The latest search was launched after Australian officials said satellite imagery showed objects floating off the southwestern coast of the country. Malaysian and Australian governments have called it a credible lead, and while the search continues, we at CCTV America want to look at the economic implications of this mystery. Rian Maelzer joins us live now from Kuala Lumpur for more on that. Hi, Rian.
Hi, Phil. Yeah, tourism is one of the backbones of Malaysia's economy, and in recent years, they've seen particularly strong growth in both tourism and business travel from China, but there are concerns about how the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, that it's going to hit tourism numbers as well as the bottom line of the country's struggling national carrier.
Malaysia's tourism sector is worth some $20 billion to the country's economy. Last year, though, growth in arrivals disappointed at less than 3%. And there are worries now that the disappearance of Flight 370 could hit the country's tourism sector. Aviation analysts say that looking at past incidents, like the crash of the Air France jet over the Atlantic in 2009, Malaysia and Malaysia Airlines can expect to see a dip in visitor numbers for a couple of months at least. That would be a blow to an airline that lost $360 million in 2013. The one clear bright spot last year was visitor numbers from China, which were up 15%. Chinese and other tourists who traveled here after the plane disappeared generally seem unfazed.
We think that right now the security will be higher than normal, and so we feel that it's actually safer. Before we were a little worried, but we don't feel that way anymore.
I wasn't concerned at all. I don't think it reflects badly on the airline or the country. It's just one of those things that happened, so I felt no extra concern.
People in the tourism business here are also downplaying the likely impact.
So far up to date, up to now, the impact has been very, very minimal. Of course, there is some cancellations, but not to the extent of, in the previous incident like SARS or 9/11.
But there are reports from China, at least, that some people are rethinking their plans to travel to Malaysia. And given that Malaysia has been under intense fire in China over its handling of the crisis, from families of the passengers, the media, and even government officials, that could contribute to Chinese tourists opting to give Malaysia a miss, for now at least.
Well, there are some 25 million people that visit Malaysia every year, and China has shot up to number 3 on that list. So Malaysia is going to hope that any anger in China directed toward Malaysia and any damage to its reputation is short-lived.
Rian, you mentioned China. What about the other countries who are very big travelers to Malaysia? Any suggestions of possible long-term impacts there?
Well, the number 1 on the list is Singapore, which is joined to Malaysia by a bridge and a causeway. They account for roughly half the number of people visiting, and many of them actually drive across, so it won't be an issue for them. Those that fly, it's just a regular commute, like a bus service. So I don't think you're going to see much impact from Singapore at all. Number 2 on the list is Indonesia. Now, those people in Indonesia, they're used to flying around their archipelago on airlines that have much worse safety records than Malaysia Airlines. In fact, for a few years, all Indonesian airlines were banned from flying into the EU over safety concerns. And aviation experts tell me that one of the considerations when trying to figure out how quickly an airline will bounce back from an incident like this is how good its safety record has been in the past. And up till now, Malaysia Airlines' safety record has been very solid.